Hi everyone, it's Amanda. Today I'm going to be doing a stalker romance reading vlog. So today I'm going to be reading Haunting Adeline and also Hunting Adeline. I think it's over here on my coffee table and I'm excited. I've only read a few stalker romances in my time. I've read The Unrequited by Saffron Kent and then also There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark, that duet. And I don't think I've read any other ones. So I'm very excited to get into this one. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Be sure to like and subscribe down below for more bookish content. I'd love to have you here. But let's get into this book. Yeah, let's get into it. I've read around 30 pages of Haunting Adeline. So far, I'm really liking the writing style. It's super easy to read and I really love our main character. She's already had this run-in with this asshole guy. I love her attitude. I love how much depth we're already getting into her character. Like, we know her relationship with her mom is kind of rocky. She really loved her grandma. She's living in this really creepy house right now that has like paranormal vibes. It's this mansion with like a checkerboard floor. Super old Victorian style, loving the setting. And then she's also just like a sassy queen. We've already met her best friend too, and she's super funny. She's also a writer, and we've already met her stalker, and she's also kind of had a run-in with him. He was staring at her at one of her book signings, and that's kind of their first interaction. And then we see it from his point of view in the next chapter, and he's already obsessed with her. Like, he's linked up, and he is now 100% here for her. He's gonna have her no matter what it takes. And I also like him. I remember him from Satan's Affair. And if I remember correctly, he's the one who like hunts sex traffickers and stuff like that. He just had a run-in with a guy that he just killed and stuff. But that's my thoughts so far. Love the writing. Oh my God. I've been reading Den of Vipers recently, and this writing's just so much better than that, you guys. Like, I know some of y'all love Den of Vipers, and I get it. It's reverse harem. It's fun to have all those types of personalities and the guys, but the writing, when you get into something like this from Den of Vipers, it's like, wow. So I'll keep reading and I'll let you know some updates when I have thoughts. So I'm now at page 150, chapter 11, and I am hooked on this story. So not only is it having that stalker romance, it also has a mystery because our main character Addie, in her house, she found these diaries from her great-grandmother who also lived in the house, but she was murdered. So now she's trying to figure out who murdered her great-grandmother, and it's like a case that's still like a cold case. Nobody knew what actually happened, and creepy things are going on. Her mom came to warn her that she shouldn't live in that house, and now her stalker has been doing more stalkery things. So I've been tabbing a little bit at the orange ones, are like ones that are kind of creepy, or times when Zaid has left like a rose or like some sign that he's watching her. And then the pink is kind of where they had like an interaction, like he's texted her a few times now, but they still haven't interacted. But I actually just left off on the part where she sees his face for the first time through the window. He was like outside her bedroom door. She grabbed like a screwdriver. And so she goes outside her bedroom door thinking she's gonna run into him or something, but he was already out the door and outside. So she's looking out to the window, and oh my God, I'm loving the vibes of this book, the vibes. There's more to the story than just the stalker romance, which I didn't know going into this. There is way more with this murderer situation. Also, Zaid is one of the people that hunt human traffickers and basically kill them and save the victims. So love that. He also just ran into this guy that Addie was bringing home, and he was like, no, you're not going to bring home anybody. I'm going to literally slit his throat. So that was intense. Let's just say it comes to fruition. And that man was a really bad man as well. So Addie's really just gathering all of these bad men in one place, and this guy is just gonna kill them all for her. I'm very intrigued by the great-grandmother plot of this all. I wanna know what twist is gonna happen with this. And it's super, super creepy. Like, I'm feeling the creep because one of her last diary entries was, "He came for me." It's just giving me a TV show kind of flavor, and I love that about it. And I just love the setting and the creepiness. The fact that she has a cliff outside of her home. In my head, this house is literally gorgeous. Like, right on a cliff. We have this beautiful outdoor landscape. I'm hoping that the two of them have an interaction soon. This is more slow burn than I thought it would be. Like, damn, they haven't even had like that moment yet. But I'm so ready because you already feel the tension, even though he hasn't even stepped foot near her. You already feel tension between them. And that's what I sign up for with romance. I need the tension, and this is delivering. So I'm gonna keep reading. We will see if they finally have an interaction.
Diamond 4. There's the dick. Knee him in the balls. Now that doesn't sound like a good scene. Gives me a taste of his own medicine. How is this sexy?
They just met.
Yeah, my tongue laps at my flesh. What does that mean? What is tongue laps? What?
Laps at it like a cat.
Oh, like
Yeah.
lapping. Yeah, it's illiterate, you know. I thought he meant like his tongue was doing like laps around her flesh, like figure eights or something.
All right.
But what are you gonna do?
I'm on page 236, and we just got to the first spicy scene. I can now see why everyone is shitting their pants for Zayd. So basically what's happened so far is they literally just met. So this far into the book, they just met for the first time, like actually had an interaction for one, and it was spicy, okay? But I feel like the build up to that moment was so important. You just felt like this was the moment. You didn't even like think anything of it. You were like, yeah, exactly. But it was a little bit non-consent. So if you wanted trigger warnings, that would be a definite one. I think also like sex trafficking, just because Zayd is in that business of catching the people that are doing that. But we haven't gotten much of that story. Again, we are basically following this murder mystery still with the grandma, and we're getting some leads on that, but otherwise we're just still creeping away. There's some paranormal kind of shit going down with like her seeing her great grandma in our house. Still loving it. I need them to interact again. Like, when's the next scene? Alright y'all, so I finished book 1, Haunting Adeline, a while ago actually. I haven't updated this blog in a hot minute. But I will say, I think I rated it 4.5 stars. I really, really loved it. The ending was a cliffhanger. So I'm excited to finally dive into Hunting Adeline. That ending was so good. I loved the last half of the first book. It was really so much faster than the beginning. The beginning was a little bit slow, and you really see that as you carry on with the book because it does get more fast paced and more layers are put into the mystery and the relationship. I highly recommend. It was really, really good. Atmosphere was 10 out of 10. Zayd was 10 out of 10. The romance, the spice, I really want this one to have more spice, so hopefully it delivers on that. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I feel like I went over it a lot about like the mystery and how I liked that, so I won't go too much more into it. But I want to start book 2 and give you some thoughts once I'm 50% in, so we'll see how it is. I have high hopes for this one. I think this one might be even better than the first one, so let's see. Holy shit, this is so much darker than the first book. Let me tell you, the trigger warnings in this are not kidding. There's so much going on, and let's talk about it. I'm 50% in and I'm loving it so far. I like it more than the first book so far. In this one, we're in a major sex trafficking situation, and that's all I'll say without going into spoilers. In this part, I might spoil the first book. So warning, going straight in. So at the end of the first book, Addie gets kidnapped, right? And this picks up right where that left off. I absolutely love that because sometimes books can drag on a bit in the beginning, but this one really just went straight in to where she's kidnapped and the horrible situations that she's in. She's basically prepping to be sold to bad men. She's in this woman Francesca's house. She finds a journal from a previous girl as well, so we have another mystery plot going on. So that'll be pretty interesting. It kind of died off towards where I'm at right now, but I'm sure we'll come back and we'll figure out what actually went on with Molly. That's the girl who wrote in a diary and she wanted to find her sister. There's a whole plot going on with that, so I'm interested to see how that goes. But right now, this is so action-packed. It is so much more like heart-pounding than the first book, even though the first book was really good and it had more of like the stalker vibe. Zaid is trying to find her, of course. He's hunting her, and then she's also being hunted by these bad men, of course. This one also has a kind of Hunger Games-y moment. It's called the culling, and all the girls in Francesca's house have to go and do this thing where guys can shoot them with an arrow and then they get tortured, and then the girls have to kill them. It was so fucked up. Addie is staying really strong, and I'm really liking her character even more in this book. She has gone through so much already in the first half of the book, but she just escaped, or she's trying to escape from Francesca's house. I don't know how she's gonna do this. Zaid is on his way to her. He's like finding clues, trying to get to her, and I think he's almost there, but I think she's gonna end up leaving, and then there'll be another situation where he doesn't know where she is. I'm really loving this. The setting isn't as gorgeous, of course, as the first book. Like, it doesn't have the Victorian house in there or like the creepy house factor, but it does have like that really dark atmosphere of like being in a horrible situation. And then we have the new characters like Rio and Francesca, and then Claire. We know she's a bad person. We kind of found out a little bit more about Rio and why he took her in the first place, like what his motivations were. So yeah, right now it's looking like a 5-star. The only thing that could maybe deter the 5-star is if this mystery plot isn't that great. I don't know, it kind of died down recently, but I'm sure it'll pick back up, or we'll find out who Molly was. But yeah, I'm excited to find out what the rest of this book is about, because I don't know how it's going to be this much longer, but let's find out. Let's see if it's a 5-star. Part 2. Okay, can I just say that I thought Zaid and Addie's meetup, like reunion, would be more dramatic or like spectacular, so that's kind of underwhelming, but still liking it. Still liking it. Sibby's back and unhinged as ever, and I'm really happy about it. I love Sibby, and the funny thing is I didn't really like the novella that comes before the series. It's called Satan's Affair, and it follows Sibby. She is a girl who kills bad people in a haunted house. I didn't love the novella, but now that I've read like the whole series almost, I freaking love her. I want her to have her own book. And so I'm excited to see what role she plays in this book. She just got reintroduced. She basically came in because she killed her therapist and ran away from the psych ward she was in. So now Zaid is taking care of her because he feels like they're kind of a duo because of the events that took place in the last book. So I'm liking that Addie's getting to kind of meet Sibby, and I think it'll be really fun to have her around in the remainder of the book. Chapter 37. Hello. So we haven't gotten a lot of steam, but the steam in that chapter made up for it. Also, we had a little bit more steam like in like the 30ish chapter mark. So if you're reading this one and you're like, where's all the steam, because you miss the steam from the first book. Obviously this one's a lot darker, and the romance like sexually doesn't come in until after like the 70% mark. So beware of that. Also, we just found out Sibby is the sister of Sydney, who was that girl that we hated in Francesca's house, which is very interesting. They came from the same cult. Yeah, that was a nice touch. I did not see that coming. So it's kind of nice to have a little reveal in there that I didn't see coming, but I'm gonna finish. I accidentally hit my nail. All right, so I just finished Hunting Adeline and I am so conflicted, but I think it's a 4-star because I feel like some of the things weren't tied up. Like the letters from Molly that are in the beginning of the book, this diary portion, I feel like that was never explained. Like, did she ever find Layla? Like, did she ever get her sister? I just thought there was going to be a whole plot with that, and I don't know why it was put in there. Unless the only reason was to show that Addie wasn't alone and for her to kind of put her feelings in the journal. But I just thought that there would be more of a story with that plot line. Anyway, so the last half of the book was purely a revenge plot, which I actually really enjoyed, and I enjoyed Addie getting her revenge on the people who took her and tortured her and all of that. I thought it would be a little bit more explosive, I suppose, just because of the first book and Z being so, you know, notorious, but it was still really good and I enjoyed it. I also really liked the first half of the book. I think probably more, and that might be a little morbid of me to say because it's way darker, but I just liked how it was going with Zayd trying to find her and then her being in this horrible situation, kind of having that suspense there because of that Hunger Games kind of moment and everything else going on with Sydney. And another thing is that Sibby's gone and I wanted that to be tied up. I don't know. So Sibby and Craven, his name is, disappeared. So are they gonna get a book? I need to know. But I will say that the last 20% had this theme of it all. So the first like 70 to 80% didn't have any steam whatsoever because of what Addie was going through. And that might be surprising to some readers who expect this to be really steamy. But I really ended up liking the whole plot progression of her, and I enjoyed how they didn't reunite right away. I know some people probably didn't like that. I did look at some of the negative reviews and I saw some people were saying that the first book feels so completely different to the second book. And I kind of get that because obviously this one's way darker. We already went through that. But I also disagree because it was all set up from the very beginning with Zayd being involved in this sex trafficking thing where he saves girls, and then him getting involved with Addie and her having this target on her back because of that. It all kind of makes sense and it all was paced pretty well throughout the book. So overall, I did think the two books go together pretty well, but I can see where people are coming from. This one just has a completely different tone and also a completely different setting. But in the ending, we do get to go back to her house and there's a huge confrontation there. So I really liked that. I wanted to be back at this house because it was such a good setting. But yeah, I really liked this one and I don't know which one I liked more actually. I think I might like the first one better in terms of the romance just because the tension was there so much more, just because they're getting together and there's always that tension there with that, and it was just like so much of it. Whereas this one was more so they already had developed that relationship, and so it was more them finding themselves together and trying to get over this huge trauma that Addie had, which really was good for their love story. I think even though it's a toxic relationship, it still showed a lot of growth in this book, so I appreciated that. But I think I liked the first one better. So all in all, I think this duet was really, really good if you like dark romance. I think Zayd is such a good character, and I know a lot of people really, really love Zayd as a character. Super hot, smutty scene, really unique smutty scenes too. So if you are up for some dark romance, this duet will hit it for you. It has the smut, it has the dark topics, the trauma, and everything we like in dark romance. So highly recommend. Touch her and you die trope to the maximum. I also have some really fun side plots, some action, some suspense, some thrills, some twists. All in all, a really, really fun duet, so I highly recommend. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I know I've been making it for a while. These books were so thick, so be sure to like and subscribe down below for more romance book content from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.